Welcome back to the Bantering Boneheads, where today we got a question to ask you. Have you ever wondered where the phrase like bite the bullet or spill the beans come from? Well, I've wondered, and we're going to tell you today.
I have a question.
Uh-oh.
The three of us have not been able to speak English at all today.
No.
So how are we qualified to share this information? I'm not sure that I could say my name right now. As much as we've been struggling today.
Yeah, we have had challenges in the English language speaking department today.
I mean, you always do.
Yeah, man. I mean, I got my tongue tangled so many times a day. It's just crazy. Mm-hmm. We're going to try to get through this one without any...
Yeah, it's probably going to be leaning towards Francis.
Oh, Lord.
Leaning towards Francis. Here we go.
Leaning towards Francis. We did that show. He's like, I've never heard of that. Then a day or two later, he sends it to me like a link to it.
All right, you leading it or am I?
Well, I'll start out with one that's not even on our list, man, because there's a lot of sayings, and I don't hear this one anymore, but I used to hear it when I was a kid a lot, and it was...
No, wait, Tony, don't do that. Stop.
Yeah. It was, it's so cold, you could freeze the balls off of a brass monkey. And it sounds bad.
This one's going to get your beat button ready because there is a word in this one.
I'm listening.
Are you ready? I'm making sure he's ready. Do you want to just do it in post? It's only one word, and it's not that bad. The version of that I always heard is that it's colder than a wet. You cut out the important part.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, that's the one that I heard of that.
Oh, it's not bad?
Nah.
Say it again.
Colder than a well digger's ass.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I've never heard your
that when I was a
that.
kid, you heard that a lot, and I never understood it, never thought about it till I was an adult. But what that is like, you ever seen? I know you've seen these pictures, or you've been to places where they have like a cannon, and the balls are stacked up in a pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that's called a brass monkey.
Well, no, what holds them in that pyramid shape, because the balls are not going to stay that way.
Yeah.
So you got these things in between each layer that's called a brass monkey. And when it would get really cold, the brass would contract and the balls would fall off.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's a legit thing.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. But I used to hear that all the time as a kid. Don't never hear it anymore. But, hey, man, this is just an example of some of the good ones we got here.
Have you, I'll let you decide later if you want to bleep this word out or not. Have you ever heard sweating like a whore in church on Sunday?
Yes.
That's one of my mom's go-tos when it's hot.
Yeah, I think we can let that roll.
Yeah, that ain't bad. Okay. I said bite the bullet earlier.
Is that what you're starting with?
I'm getting ready to bite the bullet.
All right.
The origin. This phrase comes from the battlefield medicine in the 19th century. Before anesthesia, soldiers were sometimes given a bullet to bite down on to endure the pain during surgery.
Do you remember, I forget which movie it is, but it's Civil War era. It could be Glory or The Patriot or something like that, where they're like, there's the shadow of them cutting the dude's leg off in battlefield surgery with just like a hacksaw. That makes me, I don't like it.
Yeah, but that's where that came from. You wanna hit one?
A wild goose chase. The origin is from 16th century England. A wild goose chase originally referred to the type of horse race where riders followed a lead horse in a difficult pattern, just like chasing an unpredictable wild goose. Anybody here ever try and catch a goose?
I never have.
I have.
No.
How'd that pan out for you?
It's easier than you think.
Really?
Mm-hmm. All you got to do is like grab them by the neck. That's when the fun starts because the head stays here and the body goes on like this. But then once you get them scooped up and you're holding them, they're just like, okay, so what do I do now? I'm not used to this.
If you ain't careful, you might end up with one of them Mike the Chicken things, if you remember that.
I don't.
That was where he was going to cut the chicken's head off, and he did, but he left so much of the brain stem that this chicken stayed alive for a year and a half without a head.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
Yeah. Okay. We're off topic. Okay.
Yeah, where's my thing?
Yeah. We don't have it. Okay. Next one here is break the ice. We've all heard that one, right?
Yeah.
The origin, in the 17th century, ships breaking through ice to open up trade routes inspired this phrase. It later come to mean easing social tension in conversations.
That's quite the transition from like using a boat to break up feet of ice for miles of distance to I don't know how to talk to you. Let me just break the ice. Like
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Really
how
devalued that phrase, didn't it?
Yeah, it's weird how all this stuff really started.
All right,
man.
I feel like you did this on purpose. Pardon my French. I feel like this was intentional for me.
That's awesome.
that's just a look of the draw there.
That's God talking.
Here we go again. This one's for Matthew.
Yeah. In the 19th century, English speakers. I told
There
you we couldn't do this.
We need English
I told you we couldn't do
lessons.
it.
We have any English teachers out there?
English speakers would sometimes use French words in conversation and then apologize, assuming the listener might not understand. I hope you guys understand my French. Over time, this became a humorous way to excuse swearing. For some reason, these two boneheads never find my swearing humorous. It really stifles my jokes when I can't use my favorite four-letter words. I blame you, David.
My favorite four-letter word is fart. Just in case any of y'all were wondering, now you know.
Mine also starts with an F. Rhymes with duck
Yeah, we know what yours
and
is.
luck
Okay.
and puck.
Okay, let it go. Let it go. Move on.
Yuck. Okay.
Because he sucks.
Okay. Caught red-handed. We've all heard that one, right? The phrase dates back to the 15th century and refers to someone being caught with blood on their hands after committing a crime, particularly poaching.
Okay.
That kind of makes sense.
But inquiring minds would like to know, what other crimes do your hands get soaked in blood with? Short of like, if I steal an apple, I don't have blood on my hands.
No, but I don't know. It's just kind of like the French thing,
Yeah.
you know, or just kind of breaking the ice thing. It just kind of, spread out over the years and changed.
It is funny. Like the English language under the best of times is three raccoons in a trench coat pretending to be a language.
Yeah.
So watching the evolution of it over time is really fascinating to me. Born with a silver spoon in one's mouth.
Which neither of us were, in case you were wondering. Go ahead.
I certainly wasn't. In medieval and Renaissance Europe, wealthy families gifted silver spoons to newborns, symbolizing privilege and wealth. Side note, could you please notify your daughter that she does not have a silver spoon in her mouth because that girl has got champagne taste on a beer budget.
Heather, you need to take it down a notch, okay? Take it down a notch.
That was good.
I actually knew this one, but this is pretty good. The whole 9 yards.
The whole enchilada.
Yeah. The exact origin is debated, but the theory it refers to is in the World War II fighter pilots using all 9 yards of ammunition because that...
The belt-fed ammo?
Belt, yes.
Yeah.
You want to give them the whole 9 yards? That was a bad day. A bad day.
Assuming you hit them.
Well,
otherwise
yeah.
it was just
then,
very loud day.
Even if there wasn't, an actual strike and hit, definitely some underwear ruined there.
For which guy?
Huh?
For which guy? You could do this one. You could put a sock in it. Likely comes from early gramophones, which had no volume control. People would put a sock in the horn to dampen the sound.
Huh.
Oh,
That's pretty neat.
the more you know.
The more you know.
Where's that little animation? I'm counting on you.
I think you just let the cat out of the bag with that one.
Would I do that?
In medieval markets, dishonest traders would sell piglets in bags, but sometimes switch them with a less valuable cat. If someone opened the bag, the trick was revealed.
Side note, has anybody ever put a cat in a bag?
No, but I don't see it ending well.
I have. It doesn't.
Now you know. No cats in bags.
There's actually a tool called a cat bag. Like when you catch feral cats in a humane trap, you get them into this bag, which is like a big clamp with like fishing net on either side. It goes as well as you would expect it to.
Yeah, I imagine that is bad.
It's quite the adventure, and if you don't get them first try, you better hope you're not standing in the direction that they're going to run off to. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, by and large, which is my next phrase, the nautical term for sailing pie meant sailing into the wind, while large meant sailing with the wind at your back. Together, it meant covering all conditions, hence the modern meaning of generally or overall. I don't feel like that phrase is used very much.
You don't hear it much. This next one, back to the intro, as I promised, we're getting ready to reveal spill the beans.
Okay.
You know, you done got bite the bullet. Now we're going to spill the beans. This may come from ancient Greek voting, where white beans signified approval and black beans meant rejection. If someone spilled the beans prematurely, it could reveal the result too soon.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Can we go back to voting that way?
Yeah, it'd be a better deal, I think.
Dead ringer. This comes from horse racing slang in the 19th century, where nearly identical horse might be swapped to deceive bettors. Ringer refers to a substitute, and dead means exact. So, one over on them, I guess. Another phrase. Pull one over on them.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's on this list somewhere.
Here's a good one. Turn a blind eye. We've all heard that. This phrase is linked to British Admiral Horatio Nelson, who was blind in one eye. During a naval battle, he supposedly ignored a signal to retreat by putting his telescope to his blind eye, pretending he didn't see the order.
Nice.
Which he wouldn't be pretending if he put his telescope to the blind eye. He didn't see it.
He still got the other eye.
Yeah. But it's, one's out here, one's up here. You know what I'm saying?
I don't.
Okay, never mind.
Oh, wait. I already read that one. Frog in one's throat. Oh. I dislike this. I don't like this at all. In the 19th century, people believed that drinking water with live frogs in it could cure a sore throat. Ironically, the term now means temporary hoarseness. I don't like it.
No.
I dislike that. I don't like the way that makes me feel.
Could you imagine
No, I don't want
being
to.
a kid and your mom say, "Here, drink this." Ribbit.
You know what
Ribbit.
happened to me the last time?
Hello.
The last time I got woke up sick and my mom was, or my dad in that case was like, "Here, drink this." I got a shot of whiskey. I had like 7.
Yeah, I mean,
Whiskey
that
and
was a
it
common
was,
thing back when we were kids.
Rock and rye, whiskey and rock candy.
Yeah, and it helps. I mean,
According to my father, 90% rubbing alcohol and rock and rye will fix anything. Doesn't
Oh my
matter what it is.
gosh.
Cut your leg off, we can solve that with those 2 things.
I'd rather bite the bullet.
Me too. Me too.
Here's one, burning the midnight oil. Before electricity, people used oil lamps to work late into the night. The phrases came to symbolize staying up late to study or work.
Well, that's an uninteresting origin, isn't it?
Yeah, it ain't too interesting, but hey, now you know.
No room to swing a cat. You ever swung a cat?
No, I've revived a cat that was
In a
overly
dryer.
heated, but I've never swung one.
Put a cat in a dryer before. Probably refers to the cat of 9 tails, a whip used for punishment on naval ships. The cramped quarters made it difficult to use without hitting others. I guess that's where the term collateral damage would come from.
Yeah, probably so. Here's one. We've all heard this. Cost an arm and a leg.
Adjusted for inflation, it's an arm, a leg, a liver, and 1 kidney.
Yeah, no kidding. One theory suggests it comes from the 18th century portrait paintings, where including limbs in a portrait increased the price. Another theory links it to the high cost of war injuries.
Yeah, I can see that.
I could see either one being, So basically, these are just theories, and we still don't know exactly where it cost an
Wait a
arm and a
minute.
leg
You
came
mean we
from.
don't know something?
We don't.
I was told we were experts on everything.
Well, we are. We're experts of not knowing.
This is true. This is true.
There's no one better than us.
Perhaps we should eat some humble pie.
Oh, tell me what that means, Matthew.
Medieval England. I assume this is a typo because it says humble pie.
Oh.
Humble pie was a dish made from deer organs,
Ugh.
eaten by lower class people. Over time, the phrase evolved into the modern meaning of being forced to admit fault. I would rather say that thing that I refuse to say now because I'm being recorded than to eat that.
Let me ask you something. And I don't know what order these shows are going to come in, but back to the Tootsie Pop thing.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Was that humble pie for you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
So whatever order you watch these shows in, y'all are going to get that at some
I have
point.
nothing to say here.
Humble pie.
And I absolutely love this. Hey, Matthew, what was that you said when you seen the video? What was that?
Go ahead. Zoom in.
Yeah.
He's not going. Oh, he's writing something down. I can't. No. Okay. Just in case, if you watch this first,
No.
in a later episode,
We're not spoiling it. We're not talking.
in a
the things
later
that have happened.
in a later episode, you're going to see Matthew have some humble pie. And if you saw it before, then you're going to know what we're talking about here.
One could also say that perhaps I ate crow.
Yeah. Jump on the bandwagon.
That's what everyone's doing right now.
Yes.
Because if you would remember, kind sir, you were also on my side of the fence in that discussion.
I was, but it didn't bother me to be wrong about it.
You never said what I said.
In the 19th century, circus parades had bandwagons. Politicians started using them in campaigns, encouraging people to jump on to show support.
Maybe we could jump on and throw them off.
That would be a great idea.
We do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pull out all the stops. Okay. David, you might actually, I don't know. This comes from pipe organs, where pulling out the stops allowed for the loudest and fullest sound possible, meaning to go all out or make a maximum effort. Have you ever played
I've
an organ?
never heard of that.
I haven't either.
I've heard the phrase.
I've heard the phrase, but I've never heard that context for it. But
Yeah.
I know nothing about how an organ
I
works.
mean, when I first started playing music at all, it started out on a little organ, but I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This one, and I haven't read what it means yet, but I've heard this, butter someone up,
Yeah.
you know, so.
Keep it clean.
It's one of those southern phrases, butter my butt and call me a biscuit.
Butter my butt and call me a biscuit. In ancient India, people threw butter at statues of the gods as an offering, believing it would bring good favor.
Okay.
So buttering somebody up, hoping you'll.
Bring good favor.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense.
I have nothing to add to this that won't get us removed from YouTube.
Next,
Right?
It's all on you. I'm out. I'm out of.
Oh, you're
first.
out?
Yeah, I'm out.
okay, that's all right. We got more.
Do you?
Yes. And while we're getting more, I'm going to go ahead with another one called Bury the Hatchet. This comes from Native American tribes who, when making peace, would literally bury weapons like hatchets to signify the end of the conflict.
In my family, we are very happy to bury the hatchet. However, we leave the handle sticking out just in case.
Need to grab that sucker, or at least, worst case scenario, somebody trips over it.
You know, you've got a big problem with tripping over things.
I do. Lisa says I don't look down, and she's right.
I'm inclined to believe her after today's
How many
escapades.
times have I tripped in here today?
I've lost track.
Yeah.
I have lost track.
Yeah, it's a lot.
All right, I'm going to peruse this to see if we've got anything good on here because we're running a bit short on time. Kick the bucket. One theory is that this comes from the practice of hanging animals by the legs for slaughter, where they would struggle and kick the bucket. Okay. Another theory is that it refers to a method of suicide by standing on a bucket and kicking it away.
Back to the theories. We still don't really know what kick the bucket means
Why are the animals...
or where it came from.
What bucket are the animals kicking?
The one they're going to drain the blood into.
Most of that just goes straight into the ground.
I don't know. Don't do that.
I don't know where this source material came from, Tony Cash, but I don't like it.
Close but no cigar. In early 20th century carnivals, cigars were given as prizes. If someone missed winning a game, they were told close but no cigar.
You know, cigar's one of those things that I think used to be insanely affordable and got expensive because it got cool, just like lobster and shrimp and everything else.
Yeah, but I'm not a cigar guy, but man, people will pay big money for them
it's
things.
insane. You got anything? You got any other good ones on there? Straight from the horse's mouth. In horse racing, the best way to get accurate information about a horse's condition was from someone who directly handled it, like a stable worker, or by checking the horse's teeth. That's just common sense.
Yeah.
That's not fun. Well,
Here's one, mad as a hatter, and I've heard that before.
is that an Alice in Wonderland reference?
No, man, I've just heard it over the years, and this one actually makes sense, man. In the 18th and 19th centuries, hat makers used mercury in their work, which caused poisoning and erratic behavior, leading to the phrase.
Mad as a hatter.
Yeah.
A mad hatter. I like it.
Yeah. That's where it came from.
Well, I'm going to end us on a phrase that you two have probably uttered.
Uh-oh.
And you've said it to your children.
Uh-oh.
Brought you in this world, and I'll take you out.
Oh, and make another one that looks just like you. Well, there's some sayings in their origins. So now you're more informed.
You can do the subscribe thing that we can't explain to you.
Yes. And you'll be even more informed if you subscribe.
We're not guaranteeing the accuracy of our information. However, it is still more information, so you will be informed, however incorrectly.
Yeah. Yeah. You may be misinformed.
David, you got anything?
I have nothing.
Tony, you got anything?
No.
Wherever you go,
Whatever you do.
stay bona fide.